I'm Muhammad Sultan and this is the life of our ancestors in pre-colonial era. Before foreign colonizers arrived, the Philippines was already home to organized and thriving communities called barangays. Each led by a datu pre-colonial Filipinos traded with countries like China, India, and Southeast Asian neighbors. Bringing wealth and cultural influences, they had their own writing system by buying and practice indigenous beliefs. While Islam had already spread in Mindanao and Sulu, although the islands were not united under one government, they already had rich cultures, active trade, and well-established society.
Have you ever wondered what life was like during the different periods of Philippines today? Join us we travel through the time and discover the events that shape our nation, from the pre-colonial period to the martial law era. So we explore the challenges, achievements, and studies that continue to influence the Philippines today. So let's begin to our journey through history. During the Spanish colonial period from 1565 to 1898, the arrival of Spaniards brought major changes to the lives of Filipinos. As shown in the pictures, Spanish missionaries introduced Christianity and built churches throughout the country, making Catholicism one of the strongest influences in the Philippine culture. However, Spanish rule also imposed heavy taxes, forced labor, and strict laws, making life difficult for many Filipinos. Because of these hardships, many brave Filipinos stood up and fought for their freedom, which led to the Philippine Revolution in 1896. Although the Spanish colonial period was marked by both progress and struggles, it greatly shaped the Philippine religion, culture, traditions, and national identity, leaving a lasting impact that can still be seen today.
With the Spanish colonial period behind us, it's time to step into a new era, the American colonial period. Let's explore how American rule reshaped the Philippines, influencing its government, education, economy, and the daily lives of its people.
About American period. After the United States took control of the Philippines in 1898, major changes happened. Public schools were established, English became the language of the instruction, and American teacher called Thomasites educate Filipino students. In daily life, many Filipinos attended school, played sports like basketball, and adapted to some American customs. However, most people still live in rural areas and work as a farmers. One major event was the Philippine-American War as Filipino continued for fighting for independence. Later, the Commonwealth government was established in 1935, preparing the country for self-rule. The American period brought a modernization in education and government while shaping the daily lives of Filipino. I'm Ontong Sulaiman.
Now that we have explored the American colonial period, let's move on to the Japanese colonial period. This era brought major changes as war and occupation affected the daily lives of Filipinos while also shaping their culture and literature.
During the Japanese period, life was very difficult for Filipinos. Because of the war, many families experienced food shortages, poverty, and fear under Japanese military rule. People had to grow their own food or trade goods just to survive. One of the most tragic events during this time was the Bataan Death March, where thousands of Filipinos and American soldiers were forced to march long distances under harsh conditions after surrendering to the Japanese. Many lost their lives during the march. Despite these hardships, many Filipinos bravely joined guerrilla groups and helped fight for the country's freedom, showing resilience and courage even in the darkest times.
Good day everyone. Today we will learn about the martial law. Why is it important to learn the martial law? It is important to learn and know the martial law, it is to because we need to know the history and what actually really happened in that day, in 1971, ended up in 1982.
Martial law in the Philippines, 1972 to 1981, was a period when Ferdinand Marcos Sr. placed the Philippines under military rule in 1972. During this time, the government gained more control, some rights and freedoms were limited, media organizations were restricted, and many people were arrested for opposing the government. Martial law officially ended in 1981, but Marcos remained in power until the Philippine Power Revolution in 1986.